Question 1, we are asked to identify if the following is a monomial, binomial, trinomial, and then to give the degree and name the leading coefficient. All right, now, first of all, I see three terms, 2x squared, negative 2x, and 1. So I've got three terms, so this is going to be a trinomial. Now in here, we're supposed to select the answer, but I can't do that here. So this is a trinomial, or trinomial. And what's up next? Give the degree. All right, the degree is look at the exponent on the highest degree term. All right, this is a second degree, first degree, 0 degree. So the highest degree term is 2, so this is degree 2. And the leading coefficient, all right, the leading coefficient is the coefficient, the multiplier of the highest degree term. Now the highest degree term is this one. The leading coefficient there is a 2. Question 2, again, we're supposed to identify this polynomial here as a monomial, or monomial, as some people say. I say monomial, binomial, or trinomial. Now look, there's only two terms here, 4x and negative 3. Now really, you know what, I'm saying negative 3, but really, when you look at it carefully, this is change subtraction to addition of the opposite. So I have two terms. I got 4x and I've got negative 3. So I'm going to claim now that this is a binomial, right? There's two terms, so this is a binomial. Okay, this is a binomial. Now, what about the degree? Well, the highest degree term here is just a 1, so 4x to the first. So this is degree 1, and the leading coefficient, that's a 4. That is the multiplier of the highest degree term. Question 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So this polynomial is, now we're supposed to say monomial, binomial, trinomial. 1 term, 2 terms, or 3 terms. Well, this one has 4 terms. So this one, I would claim, is none of the above. Right, so it's none of the above. The degree here is, all right, look for the highest degree term. I've got 0, 1, 2, 3. The highest degree term is 3. All right, so it's degree 3. So sometimes we call that a cubic. And the leading coefficient, well, leading coefficient, look at the highest degree term. It's this one, the multiplier, that's the 3. All right? Oh, question 4 is interesting. Look at this. We just have one term. So this polynomial is, there's only one term, so this is a monomial, or monomial, as some people say. So it's a monomial. Now the degree here is 0. Now I'll show you why. What we have is negative 12, but if you think of it this way, negative 12 times 1, which I could write as negative 12x to the 0, right, as long as x is not 0 itself, then x to the 0 is 1. So this right here is a 1, and there is our 0 right here. That 0 right there tells me the degree. So just a constant is of degree 0, and the leading coefficient here, well, the leading coefficient, all right, the book is going to claim this is negative 12, just that number itself. Now, a new type of problem here in question 5. We are asked to simplify this 1, 2, 3, 4 term, this 4-term polynomial by combining similar or like terms. So let's do that. Now look what we have here. I've got some n squares. In fact, I've got 2 n squares. I got 2 of these. Any more of them? No, these are different. These are nm's. I'm looking for n squares. I start with 2. I assume over here. Then I'm going to subtract 25. So I have 2 of them. Minus 25 of them gives me negative 23 of them. All right, so now I've got negative 23 n squareds. Now what about these nm's? I've got 5 here, and then I lose 10, right? nm's, I got 5, and then I subtract 10, so we're at negative 5, so minus 5 nm. There we go. So what we've done is we've made this expression more concise and more efficient. Question 6. let's simplify this polynomial. Now, right now, I've got this trinomial inside here, and I'm going to subtract this trinomial, right? One term, two terms, threesome. So 3 terms minus another 3 terms. Now I notice, can't help but notice, we've got a set of parentheses here, but this one is preceded immediately by a plus sign. So I can just remove it. So I'm going to have an x squared. Now I see only one x squared there. If I had 2x squareds, or 3x squareds, or 4, I'd write like this, 4x squared. But there's only one. So I have an x squared, and then I have 5 x's, and then a minus 1. Now here, over here is a set of parentheses preceded immediately by a minus sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop these parentheses but change the sign of every term inside. Now what I'm actually doing here, is this. It's really minus, negative, okay, actually let me just do this. What it really is negative 1, or minus 1 times negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 3. So now I'm going to distribute that negative 1. So I'll get negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3x squared. So what it does is when I distribute that negative 1, it changes all the signs inside. So I'll get plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 3. So just again, when you see a set of parentheses preceded immediately by a minus sign, then just drop the parentheses, change the sign of every term inside. Negative 3x squared goes to positive 3x squared. Positive 4x goes to negative 4x. Positive 3 goes to negative 3. Now, let's combine. How many x squareds? I've got 1 here, and then I've got 3 more over here. Okay, I'm going to keep track of this. I've got 1 here. There's 3 more. All right, so altogether now I've got 4 of those x squareds. Now, what about x's? X's, I got 5 of them here. And, okay, then I lose 4. All right, so as far as the x's go, I start with 5. Oh, let me do it like this. I start with 5 for, what am I doing here? Okay. I start with 5 x's, and then I lose 4, so now I'm down to 1x. So it's just plus an x, and then just constants. I've got a negative 1, and then I lose 3 more, right? So I'm down 1, and I lose 3, so now altogether I'm down 4. So what we're saying now is that this polynomial here, which I can read as a set of computing instructions, that set of computing instructions I can write more efficiently like this. Question 7 asks us to subtract this binomial, right, 2 terms, 1, 2, subtract this binomial from this binomial. Now it's a subtraction, but look what we have. It says subtract this from this. Now whenever you see that word from, that's your starting point. So whatever follows the word from, that's where you start. So here's what I have. I have that 2x squared, so I'm going to use parentheses because I have this thing right here. 2x squared minus 4. That's my starting point. And from this, I'm going to subtract. And I use parentheses because I want to capture all of this. The 2x squared minus 2. All right, so whenever you see that word from, that's where you start. So from this, I will subtract this. It's just like if I say, I'm going to go to home from school. So if I go to home from school, where's my starting point? My starting point would be after the word from, which is home. All right, so now we've got 2 sets of parentheses. Here's a set of parentheses preceded by no sign at all, so I can just remove it. I'm just really multiplying through by 1. And here's a set of parentheses preceded by directly by a minus sign. So just drop the parentheses, but change the sign of each term inside. So I'll write minus 2x squared, and then minus negative 2 is a plus 2. Now, let's combine. Oh, look at this. I've got 2x squared, and then I lose 2x squared. So those 2x squareds are gone. And then I have a negative 4, so I have minus 4 plus 2. I'm down 4, I get 2, so I'm still down 2. Question 8, we're asked to make this multiplication. So I've got a monomial, 4x squared. I'm going to multiply it through here. All right, now I'm just going to use the distributive property. I'm going to multiply it here, then here, then here. So just take these one at a time. So what do we get here? 4x squared times 2x squared is 8x squared. But I'm going to write this all the way out so you can see exactly what's happening. Now here's a step that you could probably skip and do it in your head, but I'll write it out. I'm going to take the 4x squared, multiply it by the 2x squared. Then I've got a minus sign. I'll take the 4x squared and multiply it by 4x. Then I got a plus sign. I'll take the 4x squared and multiply it by 4. So let's do this now. So right here, 4 times 2 is 8. Now x squared times x squared. I'm multiplying, so what do I do with the exponents? I add them. All right, so 2 plus 2 is 4. And then over here, I think of it this way. It's really not, but I think of it this way, and it works. Negative 4 times 4. That's negative 16. And I have an x squared times an x. Add those exponents, right? I'm multiplying, so what's directly below multiplication is addition. So I'm going to add the exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then plus, now 4 times 4 is 16, and I just have the x squared. That is our product. Product is the result of a multiplication. And that ends the first 8 questions on our homework set 9.